Have you ever opened a Bible and wondered if a book might be missing? For many readers, particularly within the Protestant tradition, there are several texts that occupy a curious space present in some Bibles but absent from others. One of the most powerful of these is the second book of Maccabees. It is a book that feels, to many, like a lost chapter of a familiar story. This text is a standard part of the Old Testament for Catholic Christians, Orthodox Christians. It is not included in the Hebrew Bible, most Protestant Bibles, and is often placed in a separate section called the Apocrypha. This placement has made it one of the lesser-known, yet profoundly influential books of the biblical world. The book itself is not a sequel to First Maccabees in the way we might think of a modern series. Instead, it is a separate, more focused account of a specific period of Jewish history. Scholars generally agree that Second Maccabees was originally written in a sophisticated style of Greek, likely around 124 BC, a few decades after the events it describes. This linguistic choice is significant. It tells us the author was writing for a Greek-speaking Jewish audience, likely living outside of Judea, perhaps in Alexandria, Egypt. The author makes it clear his work is condensed from a much larger 5-volume history written by Jason of Cyrene, whose original work is now lost to time. This act of summarizing is crucial to understanding the book's purpose. The author, often called the epitomist, was not merely trying to shorten a long story for convenience. He carefully selected events and shaped the narrative to draw out specific theological lessons for his readers. He wanted readers to see God's hand at work in the midst of terrible persecution and heroic resistance. His goal was not simply to inform about what happened, but to inspire to strengthen faith and to offer a framework for understanding suffering and divine justice. The book thus serves as a passionate sermon, as much as a historical record, calling its audience to a deeper commitment. Unlike its companion, First Maccabees, which reads like a political chronicle and a military chronicle, Second Maccabees is driven by a theological agenda. If First Maccabees tells what happened during the Jewish revolt, Second Maccabees tells why it mattered in the eyes of God. It is less concerned with the precise sequence of battles and treaties and more focused on the spiritual drama behind the scenes. The book is filled with dramatic interventions from heaven, vivid descriptions of martyrdom, and profound reflections on God's relationship with his people. It is designed to stir the heart and fortify the soul against the pressures of a hostile world, making its message both urgent and deeply personal. Furthermore, the book is rich with accounts of supernatural intervention. Angels appear on the battlefield to protect the Jewish fighters, and the temple itself is shown to be under divine guardianship. One dramatic story tells of Heliodorus, an official sent by the king to confiscate the temple treasury. As he attempts to enter, he is struck down by a terrifying apparition of a horseman in golden armor, accompanied by 2 other celestial beings. He is only revived after the high priest prays for him. These stories are not meant to be read as simple historical events, but as powerful affirmations that God is actively involved in the affairs of his people, defending his holy places and his faithful followers from desecration and harm. This focus on theology over chronology makes Second Maccabees a deeply passionate and emotional text. The author is not a detached observer. He is a fervent believer who wants his readers to feel the horror of the persecution and the glory of the divine response. He uses elevated language and dramatic storytelling to evoke a sense of awe and to encourage steadfastness. Beyond its powerful stories of martyrdom, 2 Maccabees is profoundly important for its explicit teachings on the afterlife, particularly the resurrection of the dead. One brother tells the king, "The King of the universe will raise us up to an everlasting renewal of life, because we have died for his laws." This teaching on resurrection is directly linked to the book's theme of divine justice. Judas and his men pray for their deceased comrades and collect money to send to Jerusalem to pay for a sin offering. The author commends this action, stating that Judas was acting very well and honorably, taking account of the resurrection. This passage has had a long and significant history, especially within Christianity. It became a key scriptural basis for the Catholic doctrine of purgatory and the practice of offering prayers and masses for the souls of the deceased. So, why does this ancient book still matter in our world today? 2 Maccabees is far more than just a historical curiosity or a theological footnote. Its voice continues to echo because it grapples with timeless questions that every generation must face: identity, courage, suffering, and hope. The historical context is the struggle of the Jewish people against the oppressive Hellenistic empire of Antiochus IV, a conflict that gave birth to the festival of Hanukkah. The book provides the profound spiritual backstory to that celebration, reminding us it commemorates not just a military victory, but a fierce defense of faith and culture against forced assimilation. In a world where people still face persecution for their beliefs, the stories of Eleazar the Seven Brothers serve as powerful models of integrity and moral courage. Their defiance was not a political protest in the modern sense. It was a profound statement about their identity as God's covenant people. The book asks us to reflect on how faith can empower individuals to resist injustice, not with hatred, but with an unwavering commitment to a higher truth, even at the cost of their own lives. Furthermore, the book's theological insights continue to shape religious thought. Its clear articulation of a belief in the resurrection of the body provided a crucial bridge between Old Testament ideas and the central proclamation of the New Testament. For Christians, the courage of the Maccabean martyrs foreshadows the witness of the early Christian martyrs. For everyone, the book's insistence on divine justice offers a powerful counter-narrative to the cynicism and despair that can so easily take root in the face of overwhelming evil. It is a bold declaration that history has a purpose, and that God's justice, though sometimes slow, is ultimately certain. In the end, 2 Maccabees is a book about the resilience of the human spirit when it is anchored in faith. It is not just an old text. It is a living voice that speaks of courage in the face of overwhelming pressure and hope in the midst of profound suffering. It reminds us that memory is a moral act, and that telling the stories of the faithful brave is essential for inspiring future generations. Whether it is part of one's official scripture or not, 2 Maccabees offers a powerful and stirring testimony. It asks us to remember the brave, and in doing so, it challenges us to consider the depth of our own convictions and the source of our own hope. And, well, what that might mean for us today.